In wake of a recent story that the United States Army kill team has been caught photographing themselves with dead Iraqi civilians, I want to pose a question to you. And it's a question that I'm sure a lot of you are going to be surprised to hear, but I think at some point we have to ask ourselves this. Is the United States a positive force in the world? Now, by the United States, what exactly am I talking about? And am I talking about the American people, or am I talking about an empire, or am I talking about this corporation? See, I view the United States government as a corporation, and a corporation that is acting as a fascist empire. And I think it's very separate from the actual people. But I don't say that to let the people off the hook. I don't say that to claim that the American people have no responsibility for this government, because we tolerated it. In 1871, we allowed the United States Congress to create D.C., to start to create sovereignty that they didn't have the power to really do. In 1871, when we created D.C., we effectively allowed the United States to create its own constitution, a corporate constitution in a sense. That's why the original constitution said, when the founders created it, it said that the constitution for the people of the United States of America is really for the people of the United States of America. It's for the United States of America. And when they changed things in 1871, first thing they did was they capitalized the actual title, which sort of turned into a corporate brand. Then they changed the language from for the people, for the United States of America. They changed it to the corporation of the United States. Well, when I think of, I think of Bank of America. I think of a corporate brand. See, at this point, I'm coming to the conclusion that the United States government is more of a corporation, and that the reason why it doesn't always adhere to the United States Constitution is because the United States Constitution was for the people of the United States of America. It was actually for the people, whereas they're operating under their own system. They're not really a part of our way of life. That's why they use the Constitution when it's convenient for them, but they completely ignore the Constitution when they want to go beyond what the Constitution says a government should be able to do. And in that sense, it does act sort of like a corporatist empire. And I'm starting to wonder, well, I've been wondering this for a while. Is the United States a positive force in the world? Does the United States government do more good than harm? Now, all governments probably do some good and some harm. All organizations, you can look at every church, Catholic church, every Protestant church, the Muslims, the temples, and you can look at any organization and see some good and some evil. Well, generally. And the question is, does an organization do more good than evil? Does the United States have more of a positive impact in the world, or more of a negative impact in the world? Right now, the world is very much dependent on the United States dollar as the world reserve currency. It gives the United States a great deal of power. If you want to trade in oil, if you want to get oil, you need the U.S. dollar to acquire that. That puts the United States in a position of great power. But the United States has been using its power to do great evil throughout the world. We have invaded countries without proper reason. We have destroyed civilizations. We have, either through proxy wars or directly. There's Iraq. There's Afghanistan. Not only have we destroyed infrastructure, we've killed civilians with our Predator droid attacks in Pakistan, our bombings throughout a number of countries. Now we're bombing Libya. And we have killed innocent civilians, and we call it collateral damage. And at this point, we're receiving reports that there are actually American soldiers taking photos of themselves with dead Iraqi civilians and insurgents. Even if they were insurgents, it's really disturbing. It's not a characteristic of what I would consider to be the good guys. I know it's sort of a naive notion that there's good guys and there's bad guys, because ultimately in war it's all very subjective. The good is whatever's in your best interest, and the bad is whatever is not in your best interest. But America always prided itself on having a moral authority, and I don't see how we can continue to say we have a moral authority when we disrespect other countries, disrespect other civilizations, and we ruin so many people's lives, and our impact seems to be more negative than positive. Now, we do contribute a great deal of money to NATO. We provide a great deal of defense for European countries. So there is some good that this empire is doing in the world. It's not all negative. But overall, are we making the world more stable? Are we making the world safer? Okay, so the United States is in Iraq, Afghanistan, has 700 military bases throughout the world, Asia, Europe, seems like everywhere, South America. It's now attacking Libya. There's rhetoric against Iran. It seems like a war with Iran is inevitable. First of all, where's the United States going to get enough troops to support its campaign for world domination? And let's be frank, that's what it looks like the United States is trying to do right here. I don't think that can be good for the world, especially when considering how the United States is running its own civilization. You know, you have people in inner cities in the United States, half the population graduating can't even read. And now they're going to try to tell other people how to run their civilization. It seems idiotic. It also seems like a world war is pretty much inevitable at this point if the United States continues. If the U.S. dollar holds up and is able to keep pushing people. If it pushes people, sooner or later somebody's going to push back, and we're going to have a situation where it's the United States and its allies versus the opposition. I'm not saying I want to see a World War III, but right now I think that's a very real possibility, and I don't think America's serving as a positive force in the world, or shall I say the United States government, because there's a big difference between the United States and America.